So tell me, what's going on? Sales experts will give you 1,000 ways to break the ice with a new prospect. And certainly having a track to run on or a starting position to start from makes the entire discovery and vetting process more efficient and manageable. Or you could just start by asking, what's going on? From the home base in Brookfield, Wisconsin, welcome to episode 174 of Inside Connect and Simplify, sponsored by the Benefit Companies. Roger here, human capital management consultant and a strong advocate for what's going on. Not only a massive hit for Marvin Gaye back in 1971, sold over 2 million copies that year, it's a fantastic way to get people to start talking. And I actually prefer to start with the words, tell me. So tell me what's going on. Now, that's not even a question. It's an invitation to talk about whatever it might be. So I would not say, tell me what's going on with your current payroll process, or tell me what's the problem you're having with X. That narrows the focus to just that problem and potentially limits the conversation from other things that might be on their mind. And then, after they ask about whatever it is, I tend to go to, what else is going on? That's a question for sure. But again, not a yes or a no or a targeted question. Just what else is on your mind? So why am I telling you my process for discovery and vetting a prospect, or starting a conversation with a friend, or whatever the circumstance? Well, because as a trusted advisor or consultant, I need to hear what the prospect is going through and to listen. Remember, listen to understand. All right, but wait, Raj, what's going on? The song has nothing to do with sales, and that's a true statement. Marvin Gaye was writing to speak about the Vietnam War, the protests, and his brother Frankie's stories of what it felt like returning to the States after serving. And no, this is not a political statement or a political podcast. What Marvin Gaye was saying was, talk to me so you can see what's going on. And that is the point of tell me what's going on. So I met with a current client of ours recently. He wanted to talk about potentially moving their payroll processing to us. We've been friends for years. He's been a client for years as well. So tell me, what's going on? He talked about the current vendor, what they did right and where they were falling short. There were 2 major areas of not meeting expectations for him. That was service and also technology not properly tracking information. He talked about all the things that he expects the new vendor to do and the nice to haves that would be useful as well. We even talked about one reporting feature that would be great to have, but then as he talked through it, he actually backed up and said, I would still want to have hands-on oversight of that one. So he kind of vetted himself along the way. And then he talked about his teammates and what he thought he would need to get them trained up and get them comfortable with a new, more intuitive process. And yes, after all that, I asked him, what else? And I kept asking till there were no more what else's that came to mind. And the whole time I listened and I took copious notes, and then I described our process, our capabilities, our design and tracking and training and service, and all the things that go into how we work with our payroll clients. By the time we were done, he didn't have any more questions, any more what else's. It was now, what next? So we went from what's going on to what else to what next. And what's next is we have our next meeting lined up. So again, talk to me so you can see what's going on. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, hey, you were talking to a friend and a current client. Not a tough conversation. Agreed, you're right. However, I would challenge you, prove me wrong. Try it and see how it works. And does this work for everyone? I can't imagine it does, but how many times has a conversation started with, hey, how are you? And the response is, fine, good, blah, blah, blah. Maybe try instead, hey, tell me what's going on. You can't really answer, tell me what's going on, with good and fine. And what it usually does is it gets, hey, I'm doing this, or you won't believe what happened. That's when you shut up and listen. By the way, when I am talking to prospects, I also like to say, hey, I'm not here to sell anything. In fact, I have no idea we might be able to help you at all. So tell me what's going on. Prospects don't want to be sold. They want to be heard. And when I say that, they usually start talking. Here's another example. Last week, I returned a call to someone who had actually called into us and asked about our services. Once I identified who I was and why I was calling, I asked, so tell me, what got you to call us? And off we went. Now, in this case, of course, I did have to give her a 10,000-foot view of what we do and who we are. And again, I said, I have no idea if we might be able to help you. But then I turned it back to her, and she told me what's going on. People will tell you. You just have to ask, and then shut up and listen. Now, I will admit, there have been times that turns into a TMI situation, and you have to redirect them back to the topic at hand. And, at that point, we're kind of like therapists. We get that. But getting as much info as possible is vital for them, not only to vet us, but for us to vet them. Because sometimes, the solution they're looking for is better served elsewhere. Now, I like to think we can help everyone. In fact, most times I know we can. But we don't always end up doing business. But still, when I follow up with those prospects 6 months or a year later, I can easily restart the chat with some of what we had going on back then. So tell me, what's going on? Payroll, human resources, compliance, retirement plans, employee benefit plans, business insurance and work comp, the latest technology, the latest legislation, and does it affect you? Human capital management platforms, service issues, recruiting, hiring, onboarding, handbooks, due diligence, time collection, ACA compliance, reviews, performance, file audits, reporting. Those are just some of the things that we have going on. Want some help? Want to get compliant? Want to get some of this off your plate? Want to review how your current processes stack up? Want to tell me what's going on? 262-278-8522. That's my direct line. Just be aware, you're doing most of the talking, because while you're telling me what's going on, I'll be listening and taking notes. That's what's going on with me. Hey, thanks for listening. Yeah, I know that's kind of ironic. Be well.
I'm Kurt Otto, introducing the benefit companies. Between payroll, time management, human resources, health benefits, voluntary benefits, retirement plan, workers' comp, and ACA compliance, you likely have one super stressed office administrator utilizing multiple software platforms, struggling to keep up, who can't stay current with rules and regulations, or outsourced to multiple service providers who don't want to work together. A smooth running regulation compliant business administration is simple. Insource, your own hand-picked benefit companies team. The benefit companies plugs your business into a powerful platform, allowing HR to stay in contact with payroll, to stay in contact with retirement plans, to stay in contact with insurance, to stay in contact with you. More than install, we join your team, managing reporting, supporting your business. You're in charge and free to run the business. You'll know your insourced local business administration team by name. They look forward to supporting every aspect of human capital management. Insource, the benefit company. ConnectandSimplify.com.